Hello everybody. So 3D printing, am I right? So, recently 3D Printopia, formerly known as East Coast RepRap Festival, happened in Bel Air, Maryland. As you are most likely aware, I am big into 3D printing. Go figure. Longtime subscribers will remember when I went to East Coast RepRap last year and began my ReCreator journey. In a previous video, I talked about my experience at Midwest RepRap Festival and running the ReCreator booth there. Today, I'm going to do the same for 3D Printopia. Unlike that video, I will not be splitting this video up by day, instead just discussing everything more broadly. Mainly because the weekend went by so quickly there wasn't much that I did outside of the event. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk 3D Printopia 2024. To begin, I think it makes the most sense to discuss the ReCreator table. On Showcase, we had several ReCreator models running demos. The main highlight was what was being done to push ReCreator forward. We showed off two types of shredders made by the community, the micro shredder and the pelletizer. The micro shredder is a cheap shredder that chucks into a drill. I plan to make a longer video about this at a later point since I'm still finishing working on mine. The pelletizer takes existing rolls of filament and chops them up into finer pellets. The star of the show at our table was the ArtMe. The ArtMe is an open source machine that is designed to make filament manufacturing more accessible for makers. The best part about it is it was made specifically to take recycled material and turn that into filament. I'm only briefly discussing this machine despite my enthusiasm because I plan to make an entire video series about this once I get my hands on one. Moving on to the larger convention, the main point of 3D Printopia has been growing the community outside of just the 3D printers themselves. Put simply, the focus in the community is shifting from tinkering with printers to tinkering with products that the printers make. A good example of this would be Hendrix and his 3D printed electroplating. I have been eyeing up his work for a number of years and have even attempted his methods, although never really got it to work. Fun fact, before Printopia, Hendrix actually dropped by my Maker Tuesday stream and said hello. This meant I had to stop by and see him at the event. He even gave me a plated gold benchy pin, which I immediately put on my lanyard. I'll put links to his channel and, in fact, all the creators that I mentioned in the description of this video, so please go and check them out. Another booth I had to stop by was CocoPress. This year, CocoPress was showcasing their V2 printer, which plans to utilize clipper support and a hot swappable toolhead. I even joked with the creator that this might mean multi-material chocolate printing like a Prusa XL but for food. To make Dreams Void happy, I made sure to stop by and marvel at the Baby Belt printer. If you've ever joined me for one of my Minecraft Tuesday streams, this is a printer that Dreams constantly talks about making. I'd never really looked into it, but after seeing it in person, I'm now a fanboy. The Baby Belt is a belt-styled printer. This means it can theoretically print an infinite amount in one certain direction. A good example of this in action was the wall-mounted setup, which continued to print little flexy spiders during the event. Additionally, they had a printer that can print at the normal, regular orientation, and then at a 45-degree angle, swapping live while printing the same part. While it is possible to make a baby belt sourcing your own parts, Rob Mink, the creator, said that they are working on a full kit to purchase. Last year, Cookie Cat's booth was a stroller filled with filament, but this year, they got themselves an entire booth. They had set up a giant game of perfection, which both Josh and Mike tried to win. Emphasis on tried. Dude, you're running out of time! You gotta hurry!
Alright, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh my god. Oh, for real? Oh, for real?
Alright, I think we've got like a good 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Moving on to goodies, as always, I nabbed as much filament as I could. I grabbed 3 different colors of Prussiament. I can't wait to test these in a future video. My favorite of these was the blue PLA. I had made friends with one of the Prusa workers, and they even gave me a full spool of this blue, which you can see now. I stopped by Alien 3D's booth, and they had this amazing neon green colored PLA, as well as a couple other spools that you'll hopefully see in future videos. I purchased a spool of 85A TPU from Soraya. This is much more flexible than any TPU I've ever printed with or shown off in the past. At Protopasta's booth, they had a wheel that you could spin and possibly win free filament, which I was lucky enough to win a roll. This PLA that you're seeing here is beautiful. It's a little hard to see in the bag, but hopefully once it's actually printed out, you'll see how cool it is. They had some demos of this printed out on the table, and that's why I went with this one. As thank you for my work with ReCreator, Josh gave me 2 rolls of this slick teal PLA, which Gigi has since dubbed the Hatsune Miku filament. Outside of filament, I managed to snag 2 of the printed chocolates from Cocoa Press, which on stream I gave a little sampling of. At the Lightburn booth, I got my name written on my tag, which you can see in this video. It was a lot of fun to see this little robot go through and write out everybody's names. So that was 3D Printopia. I now want to discuss my final thoughts and tease some of my future videos and projects. My biggest takeaway compared to last year was the diversity of booths. This year there was a much bigger focus on makers or small companies, I felt. For instance, Creality and Bamboo had no booth, and Prusa's was much more scaled back compared to last year. Additionally, the booths that were product-focused showcased newer technologies for the 3D printing community, such as the aforementioned Lightburn. My second takeaway was surprise with how many people in the community embraced recycling. Out of all the people I talked to over the entire weekend, the most negative person was only slightly skeptical. Suffice to say, a lot of people were positive and wanted to engage with ReCreator/recycling and 3D printing. This attitude filled me with a renewed sense of encouragement towards working on more recycling projects for the channel. Speaking of which, up until now I've neglected to mention any of my contributions to 3D Printopia. At the ReCreator booth, I showcased more of my VTuber 3D models from the series on my channel. The newest model is the Fauna Sapling Planner, for which I just put out a video this week. The coolest part about this model is that it feels extra sustainable to make a planner out of recycled plastic. The amount of positive feedback I received for my models was just so heartwarming. If you're watching and saw me at 3D Printopia and said anything positive to me, I just want to thank you so much for the positive encouragement. It really means the world. Other stuff I did was a short interview for Asylum Life's TikTok channel. I have been told that an edited version of the live will go out on Asylum's page later on, but currently he is working on hurricane relief, so I'll most likely post about when that happens, but currently it's not out as of the finishing of this video. I was also interviewed for a couple other live streams, however I was not able to catch their names while in the rush of the convention. There was just so much going on, so I apologize, I'm sorry. I had a ton of fun at 3D Printopia this year, and I am extremely fortunate to be able to represent a project I am so passionate about. A huge thank you to Josh from JRT3D for allowing me the opportunity. As always, please check out the ReCreator unit and the community. Speaking of which, to tease some future work, I will be going full steam ahead on the recycling content. First is regrind. I have purchased a shredder and begun breaking down the failed prints I have saved up. Clearly, I have a lot of work to do there. Also, in the past I have been very vocal about my desire to experiment with a ReCreator mod called the Meld. Josh let me borrow his unit, so expect some content coming soon working with the Meld. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you in the next video.
That fucking store would be looming over the Rifkin Stadium.
Behold the curse!
I gotta make one of those.